Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Joy Newsroom. The bulletin is live on the Joy News channel and on DSTV channel 421 as well as GoTV channel 125. Coming up this afternoon, former President John Dramani Mahama urges voters in Assin-North constituency to massively vote for the NDC to make a huge statement about what he describes as bad governance and economic crisis the current NPP government has plunged Ghana into. Also, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagwin has described as disappointing the low representation of women and physically challenged persons in the 8th Parliament. We'll get more from him. Also in this bulletin, as we celebrate Father's Day, founder and leader of Perez Chapel International, Bishop Ajin Asari, is entreating fathers to plan their lives ahead to avoid being liabilities at old age. Do stay with us for details of all the stories and more. I am Fostina, Sarfo. Thanks for staying with us. Now, former President John Dramani Mahama is this afternoon urging voters in the Assin-North constituency to massively vote for the NDC to make a huge statement about what he describes as bad governance and economic crisis the current NPP government has plunged Ghana into. Speaking during his tour of the Assin-North constituency ahead of the crucial by-election on the 27th of June, John Mahama expressed his dissatisfaction with the ruling by an Accra High Court to hear James Jachikwesin's perjury and forgery case on a day-to-day basis. He says the court should rather focus on prioritizing issues like murder and the men's gold matter.
Ghana force men kanchira mo ne se yese nyame nhihye eye nhihye pa.
Ghanaians want me to tell you God's plan is the best. God has planned it that you, the constituents of Assin-North, will amplify the hardship Ghanaians are experiencing. You are the ones to speak on their behalf through your votes in this by-election. All the drivers in this country are saying you voters in Assin-North will speak on their behalf so the government will know we are in difficult times. All the Okada riders in Ghana say you are the ones to speak for them. Our unemployed children are saying same.
Ye mambudo omowie school a omoti fie enfie mienu enfie miensa enfie num a omunye adwuma nia me meka ne se NDC for yentijai
NDC people are never discouraged. Whether they like it or not, James Jachikwesin is our choice.
Eza na ne mema mo hu se amanyosem abedi court mu ene se ye file nomination ye electoral commission ye ballot papers ni bibia me ejina esi akan no ye se case a ye de bae no a ye charge o a ye pese ye de okoto efiase no efri na wotwe ye bayi e wo se de bia wo ba court.
The issue has now been politicized. Now they want to hear the Jachikwesin case daily. What I'm asking is, the people who have killed, do they hear their cases daily? The number one issue, is it daily? What has this man done? Has he stolen any money? Has he killed? If they say they will hear the case daily, we'll go with our beds so he sleeps at the court. The trial can be morning, afternoon, evening. The people of Assin-North are saying whether he's here or not, they have made up their minds.
And so many Americans say, almost say, Umbeti case in Debia. Almost there, yet in public wakusiho. No, I call that court. Almost pe omuntie no anopa anajo Yeah, Assin-North for dear. So ho, so ni ho. Yeah, dear, you better, yeah, doing that. You better abanaman.
Interesting. Now let's get on Zoom now and speak to the NPP Director of Communications, Richard Ahiamba. Thank you so much for joining us here on Joe Newsroom. First of all, you have just 9 days to the crucial by-election in Assin-North constituency. What are you doing on the grounds? Because already the NDC is saying that this referendum is on bad governance of the NPP.
Well, thank you very much. If you can hear me, a very good afternoon to you and to your viewers. We're doing a lot. I can only tell you in sum that we're canvassing every inch of space available with a view that on 27th, all these canvassed individuals will go out and vote massively for the NPP's candidate, Charles Opoku, for victory. I just heard the former president spoke. There's a lot I can say about everything he said, but I'll just tell you, as a matter of fact, that they have misled their followers, and somehow they themselves are misled. And so I feel very bad for the NDC. They don't know what is happening in Assin-North. They have abused the trust of the people, and somehow they don't seem to know what is going to happen to them. If you think...
It appears we're losing you there, Richard.
Seeking to become an MP. 2012. Please, can you hear me? So
I
since 2012, since 2012, Mr. Jechikwesen has been looking to become an MP. He tried in 2012. He was disqualified by his own party on the basis of his foreign dual nationality. He went away back to Canada, came back in 2016, maneuvered and contested without renouncing itself a breach of trust in his own party. How he was able to trick his party to allow him to go through a process like that without having to renounce. So 2016, they renounced. He went away seeking to contest again in 2020, didn't renounce until somehow he was saying that in 2019. Now you tell me the loyalty, the patriotism of an individual who wants to be an MP and determined to be an MP, and on 3 consecutive occasions seeking to do that, breached the fundamental law of the land. He cannot tell us, Mr. Jechikwesen cannot tell Ghanaians that the fact that he didn't renounce his citizenship is not as though that he didn't know that the law frowns upon that. That as a foreign citizen or one who has a dual nationality, you needed to renounce that before you contest. He cannot tell us he didn't know.
But then at this point, the court has already decided on that. We're looking at the allegations that the NPP is making, the NDC is making on the ground. And the concern is that right now, the governance of this country is not going the right direction. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I'm trying to establish a mindset of the mindset of the people who are pointing fingers about the governance of the country. They fundamentally are in the business of breaching the laws of this country. Now, you tell me that those people, do they have the moral right now to be pointing at who is governing right or who is not governing right? You govern with the laws of the country, and they are colluding to breach the law. Former President Mahama is guilty of this because Jechikwesen contested in 2012. He maneuvered to contest in 2016, and he knew about that. He knew about it. So 2012, what advice did the NDC give Jechikwesen about the law? That as a dual citizen, you cannot contest for an MP unless you renounce it. They let him be. 2016, he came. They allowed him to contest in the primaries with a foreign citizenship. And they allowed him. So these instances tells you that the NDC is not ready to govern this country. Now, the thing about the direction of the country, the economy, I suppose is what they are talking about. We have told them time without number. And they themselves, the former president at his foreign lectures, will talk about how is it that COVID has devastated the global economy. But when he comes to Ghana, but for purposes of, if you like, politics, would see the fact and speak the opposite. So the NDC doesn't have credibility, honestly speaking, and you know that, and I know that, except that because of your profession, you can't say it plainly. But we should be. We should be able to develop the confidence to tell the NDC plainly in the face. Because look, if you are in opposition and you are struggling like this, about simply just talking about the problems in this country with your credibility not being affected the way the NDC's credibility is affected, then you cannot do that right now. You cannot just speak clearly and the country believes you that you who is speaking in opposition, you are credible, then you have a problem.
There are concerns
you have a problem because the NDC lacks complete credibility on the matter of governance. Why we are here, they cannot simply tell us the truth of where Ghana is today and what has brought us here. And I tell you that if the opposition cannot diagnose the problem properly, what is wrong with our country, then you understand that that opposition is not ready to govern. So there are concerns.
Let me come in briefly.
It's not wrong. It's not right.
There are concerns right now that the judiciary is compromised. John Mahama is saying that they should rather focus on prioritizing issues like murder and the men's gold matter, rather than having to compromise their stance when it comes to Judge Kwesi's case. Well, that's what they believe. What's your initial reaction to that?
Well, I tell you honestly, the NDC is not focused on what Ghanaians are concerned about. And it's sad. An opposition party should give this government a proper checkmate. The NDC is just completely off base. Their preoccupation is their politics, and their politics is so provincial, it doesn't affect any Ghanaian. It's all about their interests to become the next government. So they are not focused on what Ghanaians are concerned about. What this government is doing is trying every day, working hard to regenerate this economy. That's the priority. That's what we need to focus on. And that's what this government is doing. And so the NDC really is a distraction. They are not focused and giving this government proper opposition debate to give us what we need to draw the best out of government. If not for the fact that this government is self-driven, that the MPP government is self-motivated, where Ghana won't be where we are today. So I think that as far as the opposition is concerned, the NDC, we can write them off. Because when it comes to the major issues that concerns the future of this country, the NDC is completely off base. Their preoccupation now, rather sadly, their preoccupation is about their provincial politics. How will they win power? They're only literally working about scheming. How do we win power? And I tell you that that is not what Ghana needs. Ghana needs an opposition political party that has a solid proposition to contrast with what government is offering, to tell us this is our plan. And our plan is in contrast to what government is doing. And that is how you can determine that a government is moving in the wrong direction or in the right direction. What is their proposition to suggest that this government is moving in the wrong or right direction? They don't have any plan. They don't have any solution. They're just walking about talking blindly, criticizing government without any alternative proposition. And I tell you that Ghana, the country we all love, we should all stand up and let this opposition sit up. If they are not going to sit up, they should get out of the way and have this government do the best it can for the good citizens of this country.
Thank you very much. Richard Ahamba is Communications Director for the NPP. Now, still on politics, the former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bugri Nabu, says members of the NPP will be reinforcing the participation that they hate Northerners if they do not vote for the Vice President, Mahama Bawumia. He's been speaking in an exclusive interview with my colleague Samuel Mbura.
I know 2 has filed, and the contestants, they are 10, as you exactly said. Let me say that all the 10, they are all good and qualified. All the 10 who pick from some who have filed, some who are not filed, they are all well qualified. But the truth is that Dr. Mahama Bawumia should be, and I'm going to use this medium to appeal to all delegates, constituency executives, regional executives, national executive. They shouldn't make mistake not consider this raid to Bawumia.
So can you tell us exactly why you think Bawumia is the best bet for the party?
Yes. I'm going to tell you. The simple things is that MPP originated from northern region, joined with Ashantis and now Ghanaians. But during Bourgeois regime, Bourgeois worked with Dombo and Co. Northern and Akan. Victor Wusu came and took advice from Nyankpala Tamale. That is His Excellency Yakubu Tali, Town Chief, as its running mate. Buzia Dombo, Victor Wusu, Yakubu Tali. Kufo came and took Aliu Mahama as his running mate. Aliu Mahama contested to become the flag bearer after Kufo, who didn't go and get vote from the accounts or the starting, which you put in that discrimination. What an Englishman say discrimination. So now, Nana Adudonko Akufo-Addo has come to choose Mahmoud Bawumia. Now he has also reached, he also filed to be the flag bearer. If this time they don't vote him, they can't reject to vote him. It means they hate Northerners. That is simple. It is mean they hate Northerners. They only say we are together by mouth, but they don't mean it. So we Northerners, we are to learn sense this time.
The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagwin, has described as disappointing the low representation of women and people with disability in the 8th Parliament. Out of the 275 members of Parliament, only 40 of them are women. Addressing a public lecture on the 30 years of Parliament's democracy, the Speaker said the number is not encouraging.
Parliament has grown from a membership of 200 in 1993 to the current 275 single-member constituencies. In general terms, popular representation has improved marginally. However, women representation as a percentage of the membership of the House has been sluggish, inconsistent, and discouraging. From a low of 8% in the first Parliament of the Fourth Republic to a disappointing 14.5% in the 8th Parliament. Ghana remains among the lowest, even in Africa, in that respect. A number of our colleagues have passed the 30% that we all signed to by 2020. We are lagging behind. And so with 40 women MPs in the House of 275, it's a far cry in the new emerging democracies in the world. The representation of people with disabilities is even worse. The highest of 5.5% being in the 6th Parliament is what this country has achieved so far. So, is the situation of representation of the youth in Parliament. The representation of the youth in Parliament is also still very low. With these statistics, one can confidently say the response to the call for participatory governance is encouraging, but the response to the call for inclusive governance is poor. That is why you have heard me recently calling about us finding space for our traditional leaders, our spiritual leaders, our civil society leaders, and the youth. More importantly, our women, finding space for them to contribute actively to the governance of this nation.
Well, despite the gains made by Parliament since 1993, the Speaker believes that there is still more to be done.
There is no doubt that a lot of progress and achievements have been made in the democratic practice in Ghana. There is also no doubt that the system has been plagued with a lot of contradictions, corruption, mismanagement, numerous challenges, and self-inflicted wounds. There is no doubt that the balancing act in the hybrid system was not well thought through, and Parliament has been turned into the weakest link in the governance architecture. There is also no doubt in the minds of objective observers that Ghana is backsliding in its democratic journey. The recent call on Ghana and Ghanaians to accept the reality and collectively stand up to the challenge of the creeping lawlessness and national disintegration is a call that must be responded to decisively. We should not continue to remain oblivious to the political development in our sub-region and their implications for our country. We should not continue to gloat in falsehood and live in a fool's paradise, thinking Ghana is gone beyond what is happening around us. Not at all. We should not go to sleep or rest on our oars. Our beloved country is yet to consolidate and entrench the culture of multi-party democracy. The significance of the 30th anniversary celebrations, therefore, needs no emphasis. And that is why we, in our discussions to choose a theme for the 30th anniversary celebration, after a careful consideration, concluded on the main theme, 30 years of parliamentary democracy under the Fourth Republic, the journey thus far. And central to the theme is Parliament, the symbol and institution of democracy.
The NDC minority in Parliament is insisting on the setting up of a public inquiry to investigate the exposure of some public and private individuals in illegal mining. But ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, says a public inquiry is most appropriate time now.
But we are not against the fact that the state, the investigations are going on. That's not our concern. I mean, we are not against it. We want more investigations to go on. We want more arrests to happen. We want further input into it by subjecting it to public investigation. That's what we are looking for. And so don't appear as if by that press conference we are against the arrest or the significant legal body that is doing what they are doing. We are happy that they are doing all that. But we are calling for further action, and that's very key to us. We will do more. We want to assure Ghanaians that nothing should be hidden from the ears and eyes of Ghanaians.
Until that time is up, you can't be demanding that they should make things public. And they say that we don't make these things public because we don't want to embarrass and prejudice things against the people who appear before us.
I don't think that anybody put the office of the special prosecutor on the table in the press conference we did. We only asked for the further arrest of other people who are key government officials, who are state appointees. In fact, we didn't even mention the special prosecutor in our press conference. We just talk about further arrests to be made. Because if you have 100 people committing a certain crime, and there's one criminal amongst them who is supposed to supervise for the crime not to be committed, our key interest must be on the one who is supervising. And we all know the 3 people who are mentioned, who have been mentioned either because of what Armiyawe has brought out Mr. Bisu, or whether what the report has mentioned and mentioned the names, 3 names of Mr. Gabi, Kwam, Honorable Kwam, and then Lord Komi. We want all of them to be brought to the table, to be questioned before the public. So it will serve as a deterrent for other government officials who we suspect are part of this and are not mentioned, to be aware that the public are watching.
We want a public inquiry.
We want a public inquiry. We want to make sure the whole public is looking at them. They are listening to what is happening. The inquiry is made. The truth is brought out. People are questioned.
You want to do this? Not Parliament?
Parliament will not be a key factor in this kind of public inquiry we are talking about. We are talking about a bipartisan public inquiry, which will be set up with key individuals who we know can investigate the matter, the letter, and who we trust will not circumvent the truth, and who we believe will bring out the essence of what we are looking for.
Committee in Parliament, Samuel Atachan, wants the Office of the Special Prosecutor to be allowed to do his work.
Parliament cannot micromanage a special prosecutor. You cannot sit in the comfort of Parliament and begin to use press conference to stampede the special prosecutor as to how he should conduct his business. That would be very, very unfortunate, and that would be, excuse me to say, an outrageous extension of the powers of Parliament. And the facts are showing a special prosecutor is working quietly, proud to the leakage of the Freeport Bulletin report. And the style of the special prosecutor and how he will do his work, half the time submarine work that he's doing, is not subject to a day-to-day parliamentary scrutiny. If not, then the special prosecutor will not be able to do his job at all. And I'm afraid if you said somebody, the special prosecutor should arrest A, B, C, or D of an individual, then it's an unfortunate dictatorship, which Parliament should never dare to do. Because state institutions, we know how to bring them before Parliament when they fall foul of the law and their duties. So I say that it is sad that the minority is trying to push the special prosecutor into doing things to appease them. When you mention Gabriel Shedakon and the rest of them, it's all because of the political undertones. For instance, I've just heard him say that the government officials who are involved, because immediately you go that route, then the government should become very unpopular. Now you say you are fighting Galamsey, but meanwhile, your officials are neck deep in it. You know, it is a very convenient way to make people guilty in the space, in the court of public opinion. And that is sometimes the strength of politicians, that they'll push issues in the public opinion, so people will look very, very bad, because in the political space, they want to take advantage of the situation. So as far as I'm concerned, if you've never been guilty in the court of public opinion, I have been. And you should be careful in trying to say that government officials who are involved, Gabi or Tredaku, whoever, let's leave the special prosecutor to do his work.
Let's move on to other stories now. The founder and leader of Perez Chapel International, Bishop Assin-North, is this afternoon admonishing children not to use religion as an excuse to be irresponsible towards their fathers. According to him, the Bible frowns against such acts and spells out that fathers must be treated with respect and honor, especially in their old age. Bishop Assin-North, who was addressing his congregants in the celebration of Father's Day today, however, entreated fathers to plan their lives ahead to avoid being liabilities at old age.
We remember the positive thing they have done. And it is very important to often tell your dad what they mean to you before it's too late and they are gone. Most of us don't want to show our emotions. Some of us, it's difficult to say I love you. It's difficult to say thank you. But it is very important on a day like this, if your father is still alive, tell him what he means to you before he catches the train going to the other side. To honor your parents also means to show respect by financially supporting them, especially in their old age. In other words, we honor our parents by caring for them. Parents. So Jesus was saying that the religious people had made the people think that it is okay to neglect your parents as long as you were tithing or you were giving to God. It is wrong to tithe and not take care of your parents. Amen. And I can tell you by experience that I took very good care of my father. Amen. So Jesus was saying people violated God's command of honoring their parents by not caring for their parents in their old age. And they tried to make it sound spiritual. I can't help you because I've pledged money to God. That is using spirituality as a cover. Amen? Using spirituality as a cover. I'm not saying that if you are a father, don't plan your life. Plan your life in such a way that in your old age, if your children don't even bring you anything, you survive. And you survive well. Give me a believing amen. If you are a man in this church, my expectation is that you will plan your life in such a way that when your children remember and bring to you, it is a bonus. If they don't come, you are still doing fine. You are taking care of their mother very well.
Well, government has been urged to expedite action on the research fund to aid researchers in their work against the spread of Onchocerciasis. In Ghana, the disease of the skin and eye has about 50% exposure in some communities in the Bono region. Speaking at a stakeholders forum in Sunyani, Dr. Kenneth Bentum Otabel, the group lead for the Nitrodis Research Group and head of the Biological Science Department of the University of Energy and Natural Resources, said a lot more support is required to win the fight against the disease. Precious Semebo has more in this report.
Ghana remains endemic to onchocerciasis, a disease of the skin and eye caused by Onchocerca volvulus, a parasitic worm transmitted by Simoleum species or black flies that breed in fast-flowing rivers and streams like the Bui Black Water. Stakeholders like the University of Energy and Natural Resources continue to research the disease to avert the spread prevalent in some communities in the Bono region. Hence, the international stakeholders' engagement in Sunyani on the control of onchocerciasis towards elimination by 2030. Dr. Kenneth Bintum Otabel is the group lead for the Nitrodis Research Group and head of the Biological Science Department of the university.
In some of the communities we have worked in, you notice that you can have exposure of about close to 50% in the village, and that is quite worrying for us. The prevalence in places like Kwanwari, around the Wenchi area, places like Subinso was still very, very high compared to the general prevalence in the entire country, and that warranted us going there to investigate, and the findings were quite interesting. Things like people not adhering to the drug treatment. It's very important that as people in the community, we continue to educate them so that they understand they need to cover themselves properly when they are going to the farm, so that you minimize the bites of the flies.
Professor Robert Chick, a researcher at Greenwich University, UK, explained some of the technology being developed to help handle the situation.
Well, we mentioned in some of our talks the new technologies for different forms of trapping to try to eliminate the need to have human landing catches to collect the flies and to monitor infections within the flies. There are also new techniques being developed using molecular biology to detect the parasites in the flies and also to try to identify the flies using molecular biology. Another part of our project with Imperial College involves mathematical modelling to try to estimate exactly where and when the elimination will occur, and by looking at this using computer programs and mathematical modelling, it's possible to predict with greater accuracy what we think is going to happen. And in some cases, for instance, you could test whether giving the drug once a year or twice a year or even more times a year will or will not improve the situation.
Dr. Otabel said with the right kind of research support from the government, researchers would make headway.
We call in all hands on decks, including the communities themselves, because that is where we do the research. Donor organization, governments, for example, could expedite action on the research fund for the nation, so that researchers who are doing key work like this can access these funds and be able to do work that will benefit the whole country. So we are calling everyone to contribute our quota to end the menace.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyai.
We're taking a quick breather here on Joy Newsroom. When we come back, we'll tell you about gospel musician Celestine Donko and her horrifying experience with throat infection at the time her career was booming. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Joy Newsroom. Now, unflinching mettle and absolute zealousness to make history for their school. That's the story of two female business students at Wiaga Community Day School in the Upper East region who defied the odds to represent their school at the regional qualifiers of the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. Now, with only their scanty knowledge of pure sciences, from a 1-month preparation, the girls are ready to go into battle with experienced goals for the place at the national competition. Well, Emmanuel Bright-Kweko tells the story of the academic warriors of Wiaga Community School who won the admiration of many, including the quiz master. Watch.
Find the volume of a cube of sight.
When the call for schools in the Upper East region to participate in this year's regional qualifiers was made, Wiaga Community Day School did not hesitate to make a representation. Despite offering only 2 programs, General Arts and Business at the school, their teachers were resolved to make a debut attempt at the quiz. Ruth Awusumbek and Gifty Abuk, both business students, were selected from among the 70 student population of the school to bear the torch.
At the beginning, I tried to disagree with them because the area, I don't study anything of it. But it got to a point and I said, it's a trial. We have to try and gradually we'll continue on doing that, and it will help the name of the school to rise high. Many schools want this opportunity, but they couldn't. But if you are here, we had this opportunity and we're able to do something. I said it's a great opportunity for us. And I'm happy I represent our school.
Our Natural selection.
The girls faced stiff competition from our SHTS, an experienced school, and Kusanaba SHS. The first two bouts of the contest proved tough as the girls only managed to secure 2 points.
Ruth and Gifty, the last question in the round. F is equal to negative 15I plus 20J Newton.
2 minus 1.
The 5-member team traveled all the way from their small village in the Assin-North district to Bolgatanga together with their 2 teachers.
We came here with the help of some staff colleagues who use motorbike to take the students to San Damascene for them to also follow the bus that they are going to use and come to Bolga here. We don't have any school bus. We nothing like any means for the school. There's nothing like that. Anything that we are going to do, we always have to go and borrow the sister school, maybe Sansek or Santolo Senior High or any other, maybe from BC Senior High too. Yeah, we don't have any means of transport in the school.
Taking inspiration from the hours of meandering their way, the girls say they were resolved to make history.
At first, so difficult for us because we know nothing about chemistry, physics, and biology. But it got to a point we said, so far as we are here, we cannot go home without nothing. So we make our effort to try to answer some questions. But some of them we couldn't. But we try, we push. So those we are able to answer, we answer those ones. And our focus was that how will we carry negatives to our place? It's too far. From traveling from that journey to here to carry negative was that thing that was boringness. But at the end, we got something good.
Natural selection.
They managed to get 12 points at the end of the contest.
False.
Correct.
Their quest and propensity to exit the competition with at least a better score captured the admiration of the audience that filled Nat Hall in Bolgatanga to cheer them on.
Do you think if you had some of your schoolmates cheering you on, you could have scored more than the 12 points you had?
Yes, please. Because when they are there, you get even the kind of energy you are going to get throughout. It will be different from we being here 5 years alone.
Not only did they steal the audience, but quiz master Fifi Amaho is amazed by their grades.
And if you consider the fact that they were in a contest with people who were science students who virtually didn't show up, then you want to congratulate them for their effort. Even the courage to move upstage, sit with science students for a science and maths quiz contest, I think is admirable.
For Ruth, the experience gained was worth the risk.
I've gained a lot as I've engaged myself with different kind of people. I've learned about new things. Now I'm not the same as I came. It's totally different. As I'll be going out, I'll be a different person altogether in doing things. Even learning per se, I will be good, I will be motivated, I will be encouraged.
The unwavering spirit of these girls affirm the adage that one can only improve when they try new things. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Now let's take you to the Eastern region. In a resounding display of intellectual prowess, Koforidua Senior Technical School emerged as victors in the second Eastern Regional NSMQ qualifiers. The thrilling contest featured 5 schools: Atefua Senior High School, Across Senior High Technical School, Asasewa Senior High School, KSTS, and Nkoko Senior High School. Michael Ashali caught up with the students after the contest and now reports. Unfortunately, we'll have to bring you that story in subsequent bulletins. But let's talk about gospel musician Celestine Donko. She revealed that she suffered a throat infection which took her off the scene at the time. Some of her songs were in high demand. Speaking to Kwame Dazi on Showbiz A to Z, she said although it was a tough decision and situation for her, her encounter with God birthed her latest song, More Than a Song.
For a lot, I will not say all, a lot of our filmmakers do not take the pains to write very good stories. Interestingly, in Ghana, a lot of people cannot live on scriptwriting, and so it's difficult finding them. But they are there. However, the larger majority write their own stories. Okay. And you know, once those stories, you start to shoot those stories, and those elements and devices in it that makes it dramatic are not there, it will be difficult selling it after you've made it, no matter how well the film was made. Because the story itself carry about 50% of the film that you're showing.
Okay.
Once the story is dead or bad, let me say, bring the best of actors to come and play in it. You show it and it will not get anywhere. But you can also write a story that you won't see any star in it, but it becomes a big blockbuster, you know, marketing tool. And it's all because of the story. The story is so strong that you can't ignore, you know, watching it. There are films that you watch and you watch again and you watch again and you watch. I remember when Titanic came. Some people watch it 10 times.
Yeah.
And it's because of the story and how it was prepared and presented. So the story is key. Because in the beginning, even in the Bible, they say it was the word. So if the word is not good, everything that follows, I believe, will not be that good.
Oh, you heard that David Donto, the FIPAG president, and he's been talking about it, explaining on the same show. Well, let's move on to other stories now. You're still watching Joy Newsroom. My name is Fostina. Sarfo. We're taking a quick breather. When we come back, we'll get you more. Do stay. Thanks for staying with us. Now, beneficiaries of Japanese government initiative projects in the Ashanti and Central regions have hailed the interventions, describing them as life-saving. Under the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, a number of health and road projects are being implemented aimed at reducing maternal and neonatal deaths in deprived areas. There's more in this report by my colleague, Ohim Interior.
Ghana is benefiting from several health interventions from the government of Japan to address gaps in maternal and neonatal health delivery. One of such districts benefiting from the initiative is the Achumakwa district in the Ashanti region, which has no public hospital. The district has received a Japanese health volunteer working alongside local health staff. District Health Director Joseph Adumakon talks about some of the benefits to the district, which recorded 2 maternal deaths in 2022.
Our indicators in terms of maternal health services are not all that encouraging. Last year, our scale delivery was 33.1%, and our ANC coverage was about 49%. When it comes to the impact of the JICA volunteer on the services, one, this may be on a lighter side. I mean, you know, our children are very attracted to light-skinned people. She plays very well with them. So when she is doing the weighing, the children do not cry. She carries them on her chest and she does the weighing. She's involved in every activity that we do here.
At the Kumasi South Hospital, which recorded 3 maternal deaths in 2022, a JICA intervention is helping to improve quality maternal and neonatal care delivery. Medical Superintendent Dr. Oforibuadu says, with the use of an approach dubbed SOT, Set, Shine, Standardize and Sustain, cases are being identified and treated at peripheral health centers.
If you want to fight maternal mortality and then perinatal, then you don't have to wait in the hospital waiting for cases to come. Yes, they will come, but they will come in a very bad state, such that it might be practically impossible to save these people. The idea is reach out there, go to the districts, go to the sub-districts, train them so that even if they need to refer to you, they will need to refer you in time.
One key Japanese government support to Ghana is the rehabilitation of 91-kilometer Asante-Bekwai Asin-Fosu N8 asphalted road. The first phase of the project saw a 60-kilometer Asante-Bekwai Adanse-Prasu road rehabilitated in 2013. The second phase, a 31-kilometer Assin-Prasu-Fosu road, at a cost of $50 million, has seen the road widened and also comes with new asphalting. Municipal Chief Executive of Assin-Fosu, Nicholas Kofi Baku, says the construction will help reduce accidents on the stretch, improve economic activities, and also beautify the Assin enclave.
Before the Japanese came with their support, the road was such that we had a lot of accidents, a lot of potholes, which sometimes we used to call them manholes. But with the coming in with the support of JICA, I think when you look at what has happened now, we are very gracious to have it. And it has turned around the economic activities of this municipality. For the first time in Assin-Fosu or in Assin, the three Assins, we are having a runabout, which we didn't have. And that has actually beautified the whole place.
Visiting JICA officials are impressed with the life-changing stories associated with JICA initiatives. Alda Diotaro is a JICA senior representative.
I'm very impressed because all the Japanese who are related to this project engaging with their full, or their emotion, full effort to contribute to the development of Ghana. Yes, such passion is actually our source of our energy to keep working in Ghana, and we want to deepen further collaboration and cooperation between the Ghanaian government.
Japan introduced the Tokyo International Conference on Africa (TICAD) 30 years ago to promote peace, security, and Africa's development through multilateral cooperation and partnerships. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Oimintiria reporting.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin here on the Joy News channel. My name is Fostina Sarfo. Thanks for staying with us for the past 1 hour. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a pleasant day and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.